Hello internet and welcome back. Today we are doing a Legends of Runeterra PowerPoint presentation about Ahri, the nine-tailed fox. We're going to start with the lore first. Ahri's lore is she's a nine-tailed fox from the Astaya, a mystical race in the world of Runeterra. She possesses a deep connection to magic and has the ability to absorb the life essence of others, which she does using her charm and allure. Originally a wild creature, Ahri gained her human form after consuming the souls of humans, leading her to explore her identity and the nature of her powers. Haunted by the memories of those she has harmed, Ahri seeks to understand her humanity and balance her magical abilities with a desire for connection and redemption. She travels the world using her charm to protect those in need, while grappling with her past and the consequences of her actions. Ahri embodies the struggle between her primal instincts and her yearning for emotional depth and relationships. On to the games that she's in. Firstly, Ahri appears in the following games. Of course, League of Legends, also known as LoL, ever since the 14th of December 2011. Everybody's favorite game around these parts, Legends of Runeterra, LOR. She's in both Path-of-Champions and PvP. She appears in Teamfight Tactics, also known as TFT, in sets 1, 3, 3.5, 4, 6.5, 9, 9.5, 10, 11, and 12. 2xKO, formerly known as Projectile, Ruin King, a League of Legends story, and Wild Rift. Ahri as a card is the following. Her region is Ionia, she costs 2 mana. Her attack is 2, her health is 2. Keywords are quick attack, level up, she needs to recall 5 units. Rarity, she's a champion. Expansion, it was added in Beyond the Bandalud. Her champion card is Charm, and her champion pairing is Cannon. Ahri's level 1 effect is the following. Attack. The first time I attack, strike, swap me with the ally to my right, then recall it. This is a very powerful effect with elusives, since they cannot be blocked by normal units, so she just strikes and then she strikes again for the elusive. And because elusives are broken, they usually have low power, while Ahri will have much higher power than the average elusive. Now, as all champions, she has a level 2. Her level 2 stats are 3 attack, 3 health, and she also gains the elusive keyword herself. Her level 2 effect is the following. When you recall an ally, reduce its cost by 1. Attack. Each time I attack, strike, swap me with an ally to my right, then recall it. So basically, instead of just attacking twice, she attacks for as many allies as there are to her right, which is a max of 5, so basically 6 to 7 attacks depending on if she has double attack or not. Her champion spell is Ahri's Charm. Recall an ally to give an enemy vulnerable this round. Focus speed and 2 mana. This is a really great card for Ahri because she can just give vulnerable to a really important unit and she can destroy it, and she can also give vulnerable to an elusive unit, so she can be sure that the elusive ally to her right won't be blocked and she won't die. Ahri in Path-of-Champions. So, Ahri was added recently to a Path-of-Champions and her star powers are the following. Spirit's Blessing 1. When you recall an ally, grant it Spirit. Whisper from Past Lives. +1 starting mana as always. Units keep permanent staff buffs and keywords when recalled. When you recall an ally, reduce its cost by 1. So you basically get Ahri's level 2 effects, just permanent. This also stacks with her level 2 effects, so your recalled units will cost 2 less. Permanent staff buffs are really broken because as you can see, when you recall an ally, you grant it spirit, so you can just keep on recalling allies and they will keep on stacking spirit. And thanks to her Spirit Blessing 2, when you summon or recall an ally, not only when you recall an ally granted spirits, each time you play an ally and then recall it, it gets 2 spirits permanently, forever, and that's really good. This also works real well with some powers that we'll discuss later. Her 4th star is Hold It. Round start, stun the strongest enemy. This can be pretty great because that's one less blocker in nightmares for Ahri to deal with, and that's pretty great because she really likes attacking, and if the enemy has even one blocker and she can't attack, it's pretty bad for her. Her 5-star is the usual mana flow, give star, get a mana gem. Her 6-star, when you recall an ally, it strikes the enemy nexus. This is really great because, as we discussed earlier, your allies will keep on getting stats thanks to her 3-star and 2-star. So eventually you'll just be recalling cards from her deck, I won't spoil them, that will just deal like 15 damage to the enemy nexus each time they get recalls. And then Ahri will strike in their place again for dealing, and she'll deal like another 10 damage or so. Her deck has Dancing Droplet, a really great card. Sparing Student, it's a decent card. Charm, this is really good because Charm, as we've discussed earlier, is her champion spell, so that means that you'll be getting buffs on your champion spells. Mr. Root is really good because he gets elusive at level 20 something. Spirit Dance, this is surprisingly a really good card because it gains Predict, and you can just recall your droplet, predicts a card, and you'll draw it because you're recalling your droplets. And that's really decent. The Maker, she sucks. She's good in low adventures, but against the nightmares she doesn't do anything. Homecoming, a really great card, and it's even better thanks to her relic that we'll discuss later. And Pathless Ancient, again a really good card because thanks to Homecoming, this guy is free. Homecoming recalls 2 allies, and Pathless Ancients reduces its cost by 2 for each unit that you've recalled. For a small correction, Homecoming recalls an ally to recall an enemy, not 2 allies. The buffs that these cards get during level ups are not really that important, but I'll still mention them. Droplet gets to plant mushrooms when it attacks, that's actually pretty good. Sparing Student gets +1 Embrace, it's pretty decent, but you don't really care about Sparing Student. Charm gets -1 cost, that's huge because it's a 1 mana recall that grants vulnerable to anything, and that includes enemy champions that you need to deal with. As we've discussed earlier, Mr. Root gets elusive, and he also gets, I believe it was Spirit, so it gets another +1/+1. As we've discussed, Spirit Dance gets Predict, so you can predict any card you want to draw with if you recall Dancing Droplet. Maker gets 2 attack or 3 attack, I don't even remember, she sucks, she doesn't do anything. Homecoming summons a Poro, that's really interesting because it doesn't summon any Poro, it summons a Mighty Poro, the 3/3 with Overwhelm. It's really interesting because you are getting rid of one of your units to get rid of an enemy unit, but you're also getting a unit back, so that's basically a -1 for the enemy. And Pathless Ancients gets both +2/+2 and Challenger. Again, this guy is most of the time a free card, so a 6/6 with Challenger for free, great. For her Constellation we have the following. These are her first 3 stars, level 1, level 2 and level 3. Her 4-star is there. Her 4-star is really good, I recommend getting it before you get other things if you can, because stunning an enemy makes a whole of a lot difference against the nightmares. Now, her outer stars are the following. Support champions have Stalker's Blade. It's a really good star because she'll recall support champions, and if you can get a 2 cost or 1 cost champion, you'll be able to spam Stalker's Blade like crazy. This star gives you +2 rerolls, it's pretty decent, I mean, it's just 40 essence, it's not that much considering how much free essence you get in this game right now. This one grants you -1 cost on any spell you acquire during the adventure. This is really big because you'll usually be getting recall spells, and you can also get your Homecoming, and that's a 3 cost Homecoming. This is just Maker getting Barrier. I'm not sure why it's there, it sucks. And that's pretty sad because beyond that it's her 5th star, which is a mana gem, so you have to get Maker in order to get a mana gem. I mean, most people don't even get the mana gen, so I guess it doesn't matter that much, but you know, still sucks. Then you're getting plant 4 flash bombs when you play droplets. A really big upgrade because you'll be playing droplet a lot. So you'll be planting like 12 to 20 flash bombs in the enemy deck. Not really every round, but every 2 rounds, and that's huge. And this is her 6 star. A really good location because, as I've said, these are some really good upgrades. My recommendation is to get her 4 star if you can, then get the mana potion, and then you can either get the droplet and the stalker's blade or the rerolls. It's however you want. You can rush for her 6 star, but without her 4 star I wouldn't really get it, because you don't want to get rushed down during the nightmares. Now this will be a long one. Powers. Yeah, I didn't even put an animation for each one of them because there are a lot. So, Sharing is Caring, by far her best power. When you play a unit, it grants 2 spirit to everything. I mean, it grants 1 spirit to everything and 1 spirit to itself. And you'll be replaying units a lot. You also have Droplet and Mr. Root that will just give your units elusive, and that's really great. Husks. I personally think that this is her second best power, and yes, better than a lot of these things. Disclaimer, I didn't include, mana flow and duplicate because they are legendary powers. Husks normally are just 0-1s with a keyword. For Ahri though, they are 1-2s with a keyword. So, because they get spirit, and they transfer that spirit to the first unit that you play. So, the first unit that you play gets +1/+2, +1/+2, +1/+1, +1/+1. For everybody that's not doing math right now, that's 6 health and 4 power. And 2 keywords in addition to 2 spirits. That's huge. I think that's out of the gates is the next best power, because you get Ahri turn 1 that way if you just remove your other 2 costs that I don't remember. Mr. Roots. Yeah. Then you have Trifarian Might. Your units will reach 5 attack very easily and you'll be replaying them, so you'll be striking the enemy board constantly. Titanic Wake. This is actually the power that helped me beat a soul with level 1 Ahri, because you just get Ahri to 8 health with the husks and she gets +8/+8, and when you replay her she gets an additional +8/+8 to the other +8/+8 that she got, and you keep on doing that. It's broken. I personally think that both of these are stronger than the welcoming gifts, because these are both immediate impact on the board. Welcoming gifts, unless they give you elusive or lifesteal, they aren't that great, but any keyword you get of welcoming gifts can be multiplied when you recall your unit, because you keep those keywords when you recall your unit, so that's why it's here. Next, Spellslinger. I am not sure if Mystic Med is also that good, but I didn't want to include it because they are basically the same thing, but I think the Spellslinger is stronger because of some builds that I'll show off later. Spellslinger reduces your spells by 1, and that's huge because your charm is free, your homecoming is 3 mana, and any recall you get, if you have her star power, will most likely be free. Not her star power, her star that gives you -1 on spells. Now, the next one is a pretty funny one, because 1 Imps Genius gives your 1 cost units +1/+1, +2/+2. Now, you know who isn't a 1 cost unit? Ahri. But you know what she is? A 2 cost unit that when recalled gets reduced to 1 cost unit. And you know what else happens? That buff keeps on getting stacked over and over again. So each time you play Ahri, you'll be getting +3/+3 or +4/+4, depending on how you count. 2 from recall and playing it, and 2 from Vonip, and she gets big fast. Also, your other strongest unit is dancing droplets, and this also boosts your husks if you got them. So yeah, quick draw is pretty good because you'll be drawing lots of cards thanks to Mr. Root and droplets, so I put it there. Also, your Ahri will be 1 cost if you draw her off your level 20 power. Explosive finale, this is not explosive finale. The powder monkey power is really good because again you'll keep on replaying your unit, so that's 1 damage over and over again, and that stacks up very fast. So I think that both of these are pretty equal. Shimon Wind gets you 1 recall and 1 elusive every turn, and that's pretty good. And Spanning Students will be 0 cost when you recall it, and it's again a unit for Ahri on turn 1 to recall. Again, pretty good. He's also in your deck and he has Brash, so you know. Stacked against them, this means that you'll most likely have a free Ahri turn 1, and that's really good. That's the only reason why it's here. Domination, you rally every turn. As I've said before, Ahri really likes to attack, so this is pretty good. And Grander Plaza. I'm not sure how good this is. It's good, but I'm not sure how good it is because compared to all other champions, Ahri can just keep on resetting Grander Plaza every turn. I mean, not really all other champions, but most other champions. So she keeps on getting +2/+1 challenger and keywords constantly on her followers and herself every turn, and that's really good. Not as good as many of these, but really good. Just a friendly reminder to subscribe to me on YouTube and follow me on Twitch. You have my link in description, and this is my name on Twitch. If you enjoyed the video, also leave a like and a comment. Thanks. Now on to the next slide. Builds. This will be a long one. So this is not a very popular build, but I put it here because I personally can't do it and I want to see if somebody else can do it for me. This relic gives your units +1/+1 for every 12 additional cards in your deck past your first 18. That's insane because that's an aura, so each time you play a unit it gets +1. You recall it Ahri, that +1 gets to stay on them and it gets another +1 when you play it. And then you have 2 Succubus Embrace. When Ahri kills the unit, it summons husks. Those husks get +1/+1 from the spirit and get boosted by the thing to give an additional +1/+1 or +2/+2 and so on. So any unit you play gets boosted into oblivion. That includes Ahri. I can do it because I don't have the epic relic, but if somebody has it, you can try it. Now, our most famous build to date, which is one I don't really like, but it's decent. Lost Chapter, Curator, and Hymn of Valor. The idea to this build is simple. You play Ahri, she strikes the Nexus, refills your mana, you have enough mana for Hymn of Valor, double her stats, recall her, play her again, strikes the Nexus with double stats, refills mana, you play Hymn of Valor again, and do that until the Nexus is dead. I feel like this build is just too slow, even though you just need to play Ahri like 4 or 5 times during the game. It feels too slow to me, because you won't have a board if all you're doing is recalling Ahri over and over again, instead of actually interacting with the enemy board. But a lot of people have beaten Lissandra and things with this build, so it's still here. I also did a video on it, so you know. Now, this is the build that made me pretty famous. Strength of Stone, Succubus Embrace, and Spirit of Buru. The idea is pretty simple. Your units will reset their HP when you recall them, so Strength of Stone will just be a free +1 attack to everything you have, because your units usually have more HP than attack anyway. Spirit of Buru gives you 3 keywords on most of your units because most of your units cost 1 or less. Those keywords are really good because they are quick attack, overwhelm, and fury, and that really helps out a lot. And the piece de resistance, sub-purpose is embrace. So picture this: Ahri kills a unit, she summons a husk. The husk has 0-1. It gets an additional 1 health from the strength of stone, that's 0-2. An additional 1 health from spirit, 0-3. 1-3 technically, but we don't care about attack. And then it gets the keywords from the Buru thing. So it has overwhelm, quick attack, and fury, and can transfer it to any unit that isn't 1 cost. And that's pretty insane because if you get a champion that's like 3 costs, 4 costs, and so on, that's really broken but doesn't have keywords to finish the game, just play him on a husk and you win. You can also just keep on playing Ahri and she'll be bigger and bigger and bigger until you win, and she'll also be able to take out enemy units easily like this. Next. I accidentally clicked twice. Oops, spoilers. So, first we have the classic, if it's 3 cost or less, just play it build. Oath of the Guardians with double star gem. It's pretty simple. Play your champion, get a random really strong champion that's like 1 mana or 0 mana. Play it, and the enemy just has to deal with it. It's simple, it's effective, it works on literally everything. Ahri likes it because you can keep on recalling Ahri and getting other champions that you'd normally not be getting, because you instead of drawing just 1 champion and then hoping you draw others, you keep on drawing champions when you replay her, and this can lead to some pretty funny moments. Her next build is what I personally think is her strongest build. Vice Relic, Cease and Desist, Spirit Cleaving Axe, and either one of these. I don't have the... I don't know what that relic is called, but it's forges when you play, attack, or at round start, and that's basically a lot of buffs for when you replay Ahri. But I do have the other relic, Packed Powder. This makes Ahri free, first of all. Second of all, it's just +1 attack and health for Ahri. Why does that matter? Because most of the time that's the one attack that you'll need to trigger Cease and Desist. And Cease and Desist does the following: when you have 10 attack, Ahri just starts attacking the strongest enemy with barrier, and she'll trigger the Spirit Cleaving Axe that will boost every unit on your board. So instead of just playing for Ahri and that's it, you'll be killing your opponent's units, boosting your entire board so you can actually block the next turn, and having a really strong Ahri that you'll be able to finish the game with. Since I don't have that red relic, I can't know if it's better than the Packed Powder, but I think it's a really good alternative and maybe it's better. Now this is what I like to call Control Ahri. Again, Packed Powder, and then these two, Swain's Relic and Heimer's Relic. Heimer's Relic grants your Nexus stuff and grants Ahri tech. The tech part doesn't really matter. Why does your Nexus staff matter? Because that's 1 less damage that you're taking from every enemy, and that can scale up really fast. As for Swain's Relic, you play it for 2 reasons. 1, it's 5 HP every single fight, besides your 4 HP you're getting from your regen, so that's 9 HP every fight. And because you're triggering your Packed Powder, so your Ahri is free turn 1. Why does that matter? Well, you can play Ahri and then you can play our favorite little guy, Droplet. You attack with Ahri and droplet, your opponent can block droplet, you recall droplet, you get a draw, and you get to damage the face. You replay droplet and you can potentially replay another card because you just drew another card. And again, you can just keep on taking punishment because you'll have 9 health regen every single match. Okay, so these are all what I like to call triple of the same relic builds. So you have triple Everfrost, when you play Ahri you stun 3 enemies, triple Stalker's Blade, when you play Ahri you strike 3 enemies, and triple of Wicked Harvest and Utmost Despair. Utmost Despair grants enemies gloom, that's 3 gloom to all enemies. Wicked Harvest deals 3 damage to everything that isn't the Nexus or your champion. So that's 9 damage to every unit. Now, these builds are pretty good. I don't really like them because they're pretty boring, but I think that at least the Wicked Harvesting can be really cool, and these two are also really good with the Everfrost and the Stalker's Blade. But I think what's really good is this. Instead of just playing 3 Wicked Harvests or 3 Utmost Despair, you play 2 and you play Echoing Spirits. So that way you are guaranteed to draw your Ahri, so you can trigger the effects of your relics, and you can recall her for 0 mana. And that's really good because that's basically you just need 3 mana every turn in order to stun 6 enemies or strike 6 enemies or deal 18 damage to enemy board. Not even the nightmares can deal with that. Now, since we talk about Echoing Spirit, there's the classic Echoing Spirit with Grand General's Counterplan build. Why am I showing only 2 relics? Because the third one can be any of these. So, as I've mentioned, this red relic, keep on recalling Ahri. When you play her, she gets +1 in addition to Spirit. Cease and desist, you'll keep on recalling Ahri, you'll eventually get to 10 power and you'll start challenging the enemies. Ahri's own relic. Why? Well, you can recall other units, not just Ahri, and you'll also be getting a homecoming, so even more recalls. Yay. Utmost Despair and Wicked Harvest for the reasons I mentioned earlier. That's just 3 damage to everything or 1 gloom to everything that you can do every round. And this relic, as I've mentioned at the start of the video, it's an aura, so you'll keep on getting +1/+1 or +2/+2 on every single unit that you recall constantly. Now, how strong is she? Well, the short answer is very. Now the long answer. She's very versatile. As you've seen, she has loads of builds for every situation. She is not pay to win, you don't need her relic to do anything. As you've seen that I didn't even show it in the builds. Her 6-star is really interesting, I really like it. I personally prefer Yasuo's because I think it's stronger, but her 6-star is really good and interesting. It's not just grant 1 spirit to everything or something like that, like Luxis that just refills mana. She feels like a win condition, but you don't really need to draw her. I've won adventures by drawing my support champion instead of her and using Ahri's deck in order to win. You don't really need her, and that's really good for a lot of champions. And she has a cool skin in her pack, you know, the Frost skin. I managed to beat every tier of adventure in the game with her, from the 6.5 Nightmare to ASOL, everything. And speaking of ASOL, I beat ASOL with level 1 Ahri. She was a 3 stars though, but you know, still, level 1 Ahri. Now, she must have some consequences, some cons, right? Well, her cons are the following. I Animations take forever. Yeah, Ahri's animations take a while because you recall Ahri, you play Ahri, you recall Ahri, you play Ahri, and when you attack she recalls like 20 units, so you have to sit through the animations and it takes so much. Especially with her 6-star, because it's also an animation for when the unit strikes the nexus, so it takes forever. But that's basically her biggest con. Now, do I like her? Short answer, yes. Long answer, my most viewed video is of her. Her endless builds are great for content. She's a champion that I didn't really enjoy in League or PvP, but she's loads of fun in Path of Champions. And I have her for skin. But should you get her? Well, short answer, yes. Long answer, her 3-star is very strong. She has more builds than Goku has forms. Animation, speed, zaps are coming, so her only con will be getting removed. And you need to beat a 5-star adventure with her or Heimer anyway in order to get a diamond chest, so yeah, she's stronger than Heimer, so just get her. So, thanks for watching, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and check out some of my other videos, and also follow me on Twitch. Have a nice day, and bye.